guys, today I'm going to show you how I did my Padmé cosplay. First, I'll start with my makeup. I begin by putting on brown colored contact lenses from Uniqso, slightly lighter than my natural eyes to brighten them up to look more like Natalie Portman's. Next, I use Revlon Color Stay foundation and apply it thinly all over my face. Then I use a contour palette to add color back to my face. I apply it on the sides of my nose, around my mouth, on my cheeks, on my temples, and on my forehead. Then I use my Bare Minerals powder foundation to blend it all with a puffy brush. After that, I use an e.l.f. eyeshadow to contour the sides of my nose. I also use it to define my philtrum. Then I use a matte off-white powder and highlight the center of my nose. I also brighten between my eyebrows, the front of my face, under my eyes, and my brow bones. Then, to add a sun-kissed glow, I add blush over my cheeks, my nose, and my chin. Then I take a highlighter and highlight above my lip, my nose, my brow bones, and my chin. Then I blend it all in with a puffy brush. Now for the most important part of this look, the eyebrows. I start by making a mark straight up from the side of my nose, straight up from the outer corner of my eye, and diagonally from my nose to my eye. After making all these silly markings on my eyebrows, I connect and fill them in with a brown eyeliner pencil. I take a light powder to define underneath the eyebrows. Then with a pencil in my lip color, I overdraw my upper lip, trying to replicate the shape of Natalie Portman's lips. After that, I go over it with some lip stain. I also go over the bottom lip. Then, with a darker stain, I outline the lips and define them more. Then I go over it all with a lip liner. Next, I take a highlighter and highlight above my upper lip line. Then I take a brown eyeliner pencil and make dots on the outer corners of my mouth. Then I blend the dots upward and downward. After that, I use a dark beige e.l.f. eyeshadow to define my eyelids. Then I use a darker brown eyeshadow and start dragging the end of my eye upward. Then a little thinner, I go over that with a dark brown eyeliner pencil. And I use a slightly shimmery pinky beige eyeshadow to blend it all. Next, I highlight the inner corners of my eyes. With a black eyeliner, I line my upper lash line and give it a slight wing. Then with a warm brown eyeliner pencil, I trace below my lower lash line. I also draw a little line in the inner corners of my eyes to give a more cat-like shape. Next, I curl my eyelashes. I skip adding false lashes and go straight to mascara because I want to maintain a more natural look, but you can use false lashes if you want to. I start by applying it generously to the upper lashes. Then I touch up my brow arch with black eyeliner. And I very lightly apply mascara to my lower lashes. Next, I use the dark beige e.l.f. eyeshadow again to contour my cheekbones and up the sides of my face. Then I carefully draw on the moles that Natalie has on her face with a brown liquid liner. I add some light powder to define my jaw a bit more. I also add more contour under my cheekbones and also along my jawline. Then I blend it all in. Natalie's forehead is a bit smaller than mine, so to achieve this, I use an eyeshadow in my hair color and apply it to give the appearance of a lower hairline. Then with a comb, I separate my hair down the middle. And I pull it back into a ponytail at the nape of my neck. Then I twist my hair into a bun and put on my hairpiece. And that's it for this look. If you only wanted to see the makeup tutorial portion of this video, you can end the video now, and thank you so much for watching. If you would like to see how I made this costume, that's coming up next. I'll start with the hairpiece. First, I cut strips of craft foam and glued them and rolled them into little tubes. Then I just painted them brown. Next, I took some brown hair and glued it while wrapping it around the hair tube. Then I took a scrap of fabric and a hairband and glued them together. After that, I took the hair tubes and glued the ends of them to the fabric. While I was gluing them on, I started twisting them and weaving them through each other to recreate her cool hairstyle. My fingers are pretty used to getting burnt with hot glue to the point where they no longer blister, so I would recommend having a cup of cold water nearby in case you accidentally touch hot glue or want to be able to touch it. Now for the outfit. I started with a basic pants pattern. I don't remember the exact pattern I used, but almost any slim pants pattern should work. I sew the pattern as normal and add a little seam down the front center of each leg. Next is the shirt. I used Berta pattern 6602 version A. Her shirt doesn't have a regular sleeve seam. Instead, the seam goes from her wrist straight up to her neck. To recreate this space look, I take the sleeve part of the pattern, cut it in half, and tape it to the front of the shirt. I do the same thing for the back of the shirt. Then I cut out the patterns. It took me a while to make this costume because I was having trouble finding a thick, white, and stretchy fabric. Thankfully, Cosplay Fabrics by Yaya had this perfect 4-way jumbo stretch matte white fabric. For the structured seams on the front of the shirt, I traced the lines where they needed to be with chalk. Then I cut off the front waist section under the bust line. I used the cutout to make a slightly larger one so I could fold down the edges for the seam. Then I pinned it in place and sewed it together. Next, I cut out the square around the neckline, leaving enough space to fold down the edges. Then I pinned those edges down. Then I used the cutout to trace a much bigger square. I placed the square under the area it's going to be sewn to and traced out where the seams are going to be. Then I folded and pinched the fabric and sewed tiny little seams. I pinned the square in place and sewed it all together. Here you can see all the intricate seams this shirt has. Next, I'll show you how I made the armbands. I cut a strip of craft foam to the circumference of my upper arm. Then I traced on little rectangular shapes and indented the lines with a permanent marker. Then I took the strip of craft foam and traced it onto poster board. I do this twice because, you know, 2 arms. Then I take little pieces of elastic and glue them on both ends of the poster board. Then I glue the craft foam onto the poster board. After that, I add a coat of black paint. Then I spray paint them silver. Just let it dry and they're ready to wear. The belt was pretty simple. I just cut a strip of vinyl and folded and sewed down the edges. Then I added some Velcro to both ends. I made some pouches, then hand stitched them onto the belt. It's really easy to put on, and I also made and added a gun holster. I found some beige used boots on eBay for pretty cheap and painted them to be the right color. You can also check out your local thrift shops or even buy them new. I just wanted to save some money. Here are my adorable doggos needing my constant attention. For the boot covers, I made a pattern, traced it, and cut it out of craft foam. Then I traced it again and only cut out the outer edge. This is what I ended up with to make the boot covers. I glued all the pieces together, then glued some vinyl over that. I used scissors to really press the vinyl against the shape of the foam. I did this until the vinyl was pressed into the right shape. Then I flipped it over and folded and glued down the edges. In the little rectangles of the boot covers, I cut slits into both sides of the top two, and in the third ones. I did this so I could weave strips of vinyl through them for straps. I also sewed straps to the top and bottom of the boot covers, and it all attaches with Velcro in the back. This part is optional. I made a cape out of an old blanket with the right textured fabric. I cut a U shape out of it so I could have strips of fabric to wrap around my neck, and I curved the end of it. Also, the blaster is just a toy Padmé gun I painted to be the right color. A quick Google search for Padmé blaster should help you find it. And that's pretty much it! I hope you found this tutorial helpful. I also really hope this helps you if you've been wanting to recreate Padmé's battle outfit or a Natalie Portman makeup look. Or maybe you learned some tips you can apply to another cosplay. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye!